Thank you. I seek leave to make a brief explanation before addressing a question without notice to the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs on the topic of racism.
Is leave granted? Leave is granted.
Last year, the Reconciliation Australia Barometer survey showed that racism towards First Nations people had increased over the last decade, with 54% of First Nations people reporting they have experienced racism within the 6 months prior. The report shows that racism increased in the categories of verbal abuse, social media abuse, refusal of service in a shop, refusal of entry in a venue, physical violence, and prevention from renting or buying property. South Australia has an anti-racism strategy for the public sector. However, Victoria has an anti-racism strategy for all Victorians. Their plan includes a 5-year plan to tackle racism and discrimination in their state. My question to the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs is why doesn't South Australia have an anti-racism strategy for the whole state, and when will the government implement one?
Deputy Premier.
I thank the Honourable Member for a question. It's always something we're happy to have a look at to see what more we can do. As the Honourable Member points out, we do have a public sector racism strategy. I was at the launch of that strategy out at Townley Aboriginal College in Port Adelaide a couple of years ago. It was a profoundly moving experience to be out there with members of the Aboriginal community and leaders in the public sector. The Commissioner for Public Sector Employment, Irma Ranieri, and her team have done a remarkable job in that public sector racism strategy. The Honourable Member pointed out, and I completely agree with her, the prevalence of any racism in our society is too much racism. We've seen that play out in areas in South Australia, in sporting clubs, only in recent weeks. We're happy to have a look at what more we can do. Certainly as a public sector, that's something we're seeking to do as much as we can, and if there's other things we can reasonably do, as a government we can't control what happens on social media. We can certainly take steps to make sure those most vulnerable are shielded as much as we can, as we have done with our social media ban for people under the age of 16 years, but it's something we're happy to look at further.